Hey guys, Lord Naren White here, the Holy Ghost, the one true God. Back with you with the next video in my Pentiment playthrough. Without further ado, returning to Pentiment. Thank you for agreeing to share a meal with me, Master Mailer. Andreas, of course, the honor is mine. It is a terrible thing what happened to the Baron. Or, I must admit, I'm surprised you wish to speak with me, first thing. Lady Salome, it has given me the shock of my life. I'm trying to find comfort where I can, in my ladies and the Lord. Not that there is much comfort to be found in these cold and dreary alpine towns. Lorenz and I had meant to take a tour of them before returning home to Worms. But, well, return we shall. Or, I'm sorry for your loss, my lady, but not as you'd hoped, say nothing. Lady Salome, a sorrow is just the first of many, I'm afraid. Are you married yourself, Master Miller? Andreas, a woman waits for me in Nuremberg. When I finish my work here, we'll be wed. Or, no, and truth be told, I'm not looking forward to the prospect. Lady Salome, do you not look forward to the responsibilities of marriage, Master Miller? Perhaps it is no surprise you and Lorenz became fast friends. I imagine he said something of himself and you. He saw something of himself. I could say, I hope I should meet a more peaceful end than he did. Or rarely have I met someone with such a depth of knowledge and thirst for debate. Lady Salome, his thirst were not limited to his scholarly pursuits, regrettably. His lusts for drink and women once afflicted him with great remorse, for such shame faded with time. Lorenz was a flawed man. His various infidelities were no secret to me. But are we not all flawed before Christ? I loved him as a wife should properly love her husband, but I would not say that we were friends. I only hope his appetites are not what led him to this end. Andreas, I've been searching for the answer to that quandary myself. Lady Salome, were you and Lorenz so close that you would trouble yourself so? Andreas, my motivation is personal. My mentor, Brother Piero, was found with the Baron's body. But I do not believe he killed your husband. I'm afraid I can say no more than that. Lady Salome, if not him, then who? I could say, there are many possibilities, both here at the Abbey and in town, or I don't wish to speak out of turn. Your husband managed to cultivate many enemies in a short time here. Lady Salome, that does sound like Lorenz. He was a man of many opinions, and he gave them freely, to all who would listen, and to some who would not. The previous abbot, Father Matthias, seemed to appreciate that about him. This new abbot is perhaps more conservative. Andreas, Father Matthias was an open-minded man, from all that I've heard, a true scholar. Or Father Gurnot inherited a challenging fiscal situation from the late Father Matthias. Father Gurnot doesn't share Matthias's passion for the written word, yet endures the expense of it. Lady Salome, to be put in such a position would make any man unhappy. I understand. I wonder what he will make of Lorenz's gift to the Abbey. Andreas, what gift was this? Or wait for her to continue. Lady Salome, it seemed to be a little thing of more interest and value to my husband and the former abbot than Father Gurnot. He had found a book about the history of Tassing. He believed it contained some scandalous details. He said it corroborated fears Father Matthias had expressed, but he didn't share the particulars with me. Andreas, do you have a sense of what the scandals involved? Or did you know Father Matthias yourself? Lady Salome, beyond the breadbasket of Tassing's history, I cannot say. My understanding is that this community is quite old. I'm sorry I can't be of more help. I have some education, but I lack my husband's thirst for knowledge. If you find the book, hopefully its significance will be apparent. Andreas, if God wills it. Do you plan to stay in Tassin long, or will you be returning home to Worms soon? Lady Salamea, only so long as it takes the Archdeacon to investigate my husband's murder. Though the circumstances of my time here are dire, I'm in no hurry to return. Wait for her to continue, or why is that, if I may ask? Lady Salamea, I shouldn't. I see a glimmer now of what Lorenz saw in me. You are a disarming man, Master Miller, and much too easy to talk to. To be frank, I do not know what will become of me when I return to Worms. My title and residence may be in jeopardy. Lorenz and I have a son, but he is young yet. I don't know many of the legalities, only that my position is at some risk. Andreas, you're in a difficult position, my lady, and I will pray for your happiness. Or I'll suspect you'll survive just fine. Lady Salamea, as will I, Master Miller. Lady Salamea, I'm sorry to cut our conversation short, but I fear I must rest. Of course, you've had a long day, or thank you for having me at your table. Lady Salamea, be well, Master Miller. And, whatever anyone says of my husband, I'm certain he appreciated your friendship. I need to go to the chapter house to meet with the Archdeacon. Veronica and Hetty are here. Gertrude, Ada, Guy. Ulrich. We could talk with all of them, we could talk with none of them. Why don't we talk with them from left to right? It's the beauty of this game, after all. Hello, Andres, Veronica says. Hetty. Hey, Andres. Gertrude. God bless you, Master Mailer. Margaret. Master Mailer? Andreas, yes, it's me, sister. Margaret, do you think Brother Pierre really murdered the Baron? Andreas, no, of course not. Margaret, oh, then why would Father Abbot have him put in the cellar? Andreas, I don't know the answer to that, Sister Margaret, I'm sorry. Or Father Abbot is afraid of what will happen if we can't figure out who the killer really is. Margaret, do you think the devil could appear here at Kiersau? Yes, I suppose. Why? Or no, I think people see the devil where they want to see him. Or the answer I'll give, if the devil could appear to Christ at Gethsemane, he can appear to us anywhere. Margaret, I didn't see the devil, but I think I smelled his odor. The night before the Baron was killed, I woke before matins and I smelled something in our dormitory. It was strange. Moss and sulfur mixed with frankincense and roses. It moved through the room. I wanted to scream, but I was too frightened, and then it was gone. I'm ashamed that I didn't cry out, but I didn't know what to do. I could say, I don't know that I would have done any better, sister, or did any of the other sisters smell it? Margaret, I don't know, but I think they're all asleep. Thank you, Sister Margaret. God bless you, Master Mailer. God bless you, Andres. Good day, Andres. God bless you, Andres. And here we go. A Dansu of Death Morale. Father Matthias had it painted a few years before his death. It's beautiful. Jacob, please state your name for our records. could say Andreas Mahler, journeyman artist from Nuremberg. Andreas, son of Joseph Mahler, master artist from Nuremberg. Or Andreas Mahler, artist recently of Ghent. What is an artist doing in Kearsarge Abbey? Andreas, the Abbey still has some commissions from wealthy patrons, and I need the money before I return to Nuremberg. I ask myself that sometimes, haha, or why don't you ask the abbot? Jacob, Arnold, please write that down. I think we're ready to begin. Arnold, of course, your reverence. Jacob, now then, Master Miller, what was your relation to Lorenz, the Baron Rothwigel? I only knew him for a day, but we were on friendly terms or incidental acquaintances, nothing more. Jacob, do you feel you had a sense of him as a person? Andreas, yes, your reverence, or no, your reverence? Yes. Jacob, how would you characterize him? Andreas, a fine man, a lover of art and knowledge, confident, overbearing, used to getting what he wants, a nobleman for all the good and ill that goes along with that title. Jacob, that was the opinion of Father Garnal and Lady Salome as well. Do you believe everyone regarded him with the same warmth? Yes, why wouldn't they? Or no, your reverence, it's clear that some locals had little love for the Baron. Jacob, as unfortunate as that is, such knowledge may be a boon to us at this moment. The Baron Rothwigel was murdered here, in this very room. Someone did it. Father Garnal believes it was one of his monks, Brother Piero. I have met with Brother Piero and questioned him at length. While it seems unlikely that a man of his age and temperament could murder the Baron, he was discovered in flagrante delicto. Say nothing? Or he wasn't, though. The Baron was already dead. We're going to say, technically he discovered the corpus delicti, but was not caught in flagrante delicto. Master Mailer, I'm not interested in your clarifications, technical or otherwise, on matters of Latin or law. That's a shame. I thought you might actually appreciate that. If you wish to advocate on behalf of Brother Piero, I suggest shutting your mouth until I ask you a question. Wow, that went badly. Piero had reasons to resent the Baron. The loss of his work, the insistence of discussing the writings of the troublemaker from Wittenberg. As for his age and infirmity, I myself have read of many cases in which a man of modest strength succumbs to the temptations of the devil. Once seized by devilish fever, the poor sinner gains an infernal power that allows him to inflict grievous wounds, sometimes fatal. What I am saying is that in spite of the curious circumstances, Brother Piero is the most plausible perpetrator of this most vile act. I understand that you are on friendly terms with Brother Piero. You also interacted with the Baron both in the town and the Abbey. Did you witness anything that suggests someone else could have murdered Baron Rothwigel? We could say, Lucky Steiner argued with the Barons, or one of the nuns, Sister Mathilda, may have wished revenge on the Baron, or a widow in Tassing, Ottila Kemprin, hated the Baron. The Abbey's prior, Frank, was behaving suspiciously of the day of the Baron's arrival. He may have had a motive, or a local thief, Martin Bauer. Let's start with Lucky Stauner. Jacob, who is Lucky Stauner? I don't believe his name has come up during our question. Andreas, he's the town stonemason. Jacob, all right. What's the connection between the town stonemason and a nobleman from Worms? Andreas, we could say, Lucky wanted to take revenge against the Baron for the death of his daughter Beat, or I and at least 3 farmers in the village saw Lucky arguing with the Baron when he came to town. It's this one. Jacob, did the stonemason believe that the Baron has murdered this young woman? Andreas, no, she was a suicide, but Lucky held the Baron responsible. Jacob, this is quite hard to follow, Master Miller. What does this have to do with the Baron and the stonemason? Andreas, on his last visit several years ago, the Baron charmed Lucky's daughter, but left her behind. Some time after the Baron left, Beat realized she was with child. The stonemason had his wife, and his wife did their best, but Beat did not want to keep the child. She attempted to stop the pregnancy by way of her mother's medicine. Jacob, mother's medicine? Andreas, Agnes Steinerin is the town midwife. Jacob, I see. Andreas, in the end, the medicine claimed her life. Jacob, and her unborn child with it, I presume. The stonemason, Lucky Stauner, has held a grudge the whole time. Andreas, they argued about something, I know that. I witnessed it the morning the Baron arrived. Jacob, the town stonemason must be quite strong. Strong enough to wrest a knife out of a nobleman's hand and turn it against him. Andreas. Yes, I've personally witnessed him lifting massive stones by the town church. Or that seems plausible, Your Reverence, or tales of his strength may be exaggerated. He's an aging man, after all. I also saw him kill several large fish with a single blow against a rock. Jacob. He sounds more than capable. Thank you. Is there anyone else you can think of who may have wanted to harm the Baron? Next is Ferenc. It's gotta be Ferenc. Jacob. That is an extraordinary claim, Andreas. The abbot speaks highly of the prior, and he oversees both your and Brother Piero's work, does he not? You can say yes, Your Reverence, or yes, but Prior Ferenc's role in the scriptorium has little bearing on his motive. An extraordinary claim requires extraordinary evidence for me to take it seriously. Why should I take the word of an artist over a respected officer of this abbey? I can provide evidence of Prior Ferenc's motive. Jacob, please do so. Andreas, on the day that the Baron arrived, I secretly observed Prior Ferenc in the scriptorium. Or Baron Rothfagel and Prior Ferenc were exchanging letters about performing a magical ritual during the Baron's visit. Jacob, you have proof of this? Andreas, I have a letter the Prior wrote to the Baron, or I have the imprint of a letter that the Prior wrote to the Baron. I have a letter. In it, the Prior mentions that we will not perform a ritual for the Baron, even if the Baron does follow through on a threat to implicate him to Inquisitors at Innsbruck. Jacob, an implication of necromancy is a serious matter. The Prior's position would have been in peril, possibly even his life. And how do you believe Prior Ferenc would have killed the Baron? In a test of strength for the Baron's knife, it seems unlikely that the Prior could have prevailed. Andreas, true. Jacob, is there anything else to say about the Prior? Andreas, on the day that the Baron arrived, I secretly observed Prior Ferenc in the scriptorium. Jacob, was this an intentionally covert observation? Andreas, no, I was working alone and had dropped something on the floor. The Prior did not know I was there, or no, it wasn't planned, the first one. Jacob, very well, continue. Andreas, he wrote a note, a cipher in a book. It was associated with a Volvel that he used to encode something in it. Jacob, yes, what he encoded? Andreas, I am not certain, but it is very suspicious. Jacob, Master Mailer, could you please confine your remarks to information that leads to something useful? Now, do you have any evidence other evidence against the Prior? Andreas, no, Your Reverence. Jacob, very well. Who else may have wanted to see the Baron dead? So we are going to ignore Sister Mathilda. Definitely Martin Bauer. Jacob, yes, his name has come up in my inquiries. My understanding is that he absconded with some of the Baron's valuables. Arnold? Arnold, yes, Your Reverence. A silver ring, a golden ring, 12 golden, 10 groschen, and a book intended as a gift for the Abbey. Jacob, thank you. It's my understanding that this boy was known as a thief, but also as a coward, and that the theft was from the Abbey's guest house after the Baron had already left it. Andreas, even so, it's still possible that he could have committed the murder, Your Reverence. Very well, Your Reverence. Jacob, yes, it's possible, but very unlikely in my judgment. I'm not treating him as a serious suspect for the Baron's murder at this time. Who else may have wanted to see the Baron dead? I would say we mentioned Attilia, but other than that, nobody. Jacob, what cause did she have? Andreas, the Baron was responsible for the death of her husband. Jacob, responsible how? Andreas, years ago, when the Baron visited Tassing, he quarreled with Rennig Kemper. The two came to blows. According to the widow, the Baron beat Rennig so severely that he never fully healed from his injuries. He died not long ago, and their home is in legal jeopardy. The widow held the Baron responsible for all this. Jacob, and how do you propose this woman killed the Baron? It's hard to imagine such a frail crone taking the Baron's own knife away from him. Andreas, I admit that seems unlikely, Jacob noted. Andreas, Ottila Kemper is a good woman, but she has been made hard by what happened to her husband, or leave it at that. She doesn't seem to really care if people suspect her of murder. In many ways, she has given up on life. Jacob, interesting. Thank you, Master Bell. Do you have knowledge of anyone else who would want to kill the Baron? No, I can think of no one else. Very well. Are you aware of anything else that might shed some light on this case? Has Brother Florian told you about the note he found in the Baron's clothing? Jacob, yes. Brother Florian explained it, how he came to find it, and told me its contents. Master Jaeger has entered his testimony in our register. Your description of what transpired between the Baron and Beat Steineren explains the meaning. You don't think the stonemason wrote it, do you? Andreas, no. Whoever wrote the note was a talented scribe. Jacob, I understand Curacao has two, the elderly, Brother Adok, and the younger brother Guy. Andreas, to be frank, Your Reverence, neither man has the skill to write in this way. There's something else about it, too. The style is just different. It's unlike Adok and Guy's writing, unlike mine. Jacob, yes, well, whatever the particulars, it seems it will remain a mystery that stands apart from the commission of the murder. Andreas, unfortunately, there is more to tell. I found more notes. Notes written in the same hand, on the same type of parchment, to those who had a motive to kill the Baron. Jacob, it is deeply troubling, but again, beyond the bounds of my investigation. In any case, I thank you for bringing it to my attention. Andreas, of course, Your Reverence. Thank you again for your time, Master Mailer. Thank you again for your time, Master Mailer. So we can persuade him. We made that pedantic point about Corpus Delicti. He didn't like it, but it seems we're capable. So would it be impertinent of me to opine who the killer is? Jacob, not at all. You are an educated man and have conducted yourself appropriately in this inquiry. I reserve final judgment, of course, but who do you believe killed the Baron? On second thought, I'd rather not influence your decision, Your Reverence. Considering all the evidence, I think it's Ferenc, and that's who I'm going with. Ferenc is super suspicious. Prior Ferenc, Your Reverence. His behavior on the day of the Baron's arrival revealed his anxiety about the situation. Leave it at that, or, what I'm going to go with, others may have had a motive, but Prior Ferenc had the most to lose. Jacob noted. Your contributions to this inquiry are appreciated. Thank you for your time and candor. Andreas, you are quite welcome, Your Reverence. Or, I wanted to help in any way I could. I know in my heart that Brother Piero is innocent. Jacob, until later, Master Mailer. Andreas, until then, Your Reverence. Final day of judgment, Law and Judgment, May 1518. Peter, Andreas, I didn't think you were coming to this. Andreas, I didn't think I was either. I suppose I wanted to see how this ends after all. Or, well, here I am. Or why? I didn't want to miss this. Paul, can you believe that Lucky Steiner killed that nobleman? Good York, you missed the trial, Andreas. A magistrate from Mittenwald came in, read all the charges, and found him guilty. Andreas, Lucky? Well, he has a temper, doesn't he? Or, no, I can't believe it. This does not seem right. Or, well, whether we'll believe it or not, the magistrate was convinced. This isn't what I told the Archdeacon at all. Let's say the third one. Peter, I can't remember the last time there was an execution in Tassen. Eva, oh, here comes the procession. Otto, did I miss anything? Eva, no, you're fine. Otto, Andreas, Otto or not? Otto? Te, Agnus Dei Quitolias peccata mundi misere nobis. Agnus Dei Quitolias peccata mundi misere nobis. Agnus Dei Quitolias peccata mundi dona nobis pacem. We know you didn't do it, Lucky. See you in hell, stonemason. Shut your mouth, Miller. Silence, silence! I order the executioner to carry out his duty. I warrant him peace and safe conduct, whatever may befall him. Lucky. Lord, Into your hands I commit my spirit. You will watch. Ricard, my Lord Judge, have I executed well? No, no, you have executed as judgment and law have required. Ricard, for that I thank God and my master who has taught me such art. Agnes, you. I know this is your doing. I could say, I don't know what you're talking about. Your husband was the one who did the deed. Why are you angry with me? Or what I'll say, Agnes, no. I swear to you, I had nothing to do with this. I don't believe your husband could have done this any more than I believe Brother Pierre capable of it. Agnes, but you talked to the Archdeacon. What did you tell him? Very little. Just what I knew about the Baron and Brother Pierre. I did tell him I saw Lucky arguing with the Baron, but Hetty and Veronica saw that. Half the town did. Be honest. Agnes, why? Why did they take him from me? I'm sorry, Agnes. 3. Separation, June 1518. Piero. Andreas, has the time come for you to leave us? Andreas, I'm afraid so, Brother Piero. Or, yes, and none too soon. I'll go through, I'm afraid so. Piero, this is a sad parting, but inevitable. I'd hoped you would stay a bit longer, but the world needs you more than Kearsarge does. You have grown beyond this old abbey, and become a master in your own right. I will miss you, my son. Andreas, as will I of you, as I will of you. Or, who will keep you out of trouble when I'm gone? I pray that, Piero, I pray that that is the last trouble I will see in my old age, and I have God to thank for getting me out of it. Come, your masterpiece is complete. May I see it one last time before you go? Andreas, I suppose it's not everything I hoped for, or please, I value your assessment. Piero, the opinion of one old monk matters little. All the same, I'm excited to see it finished at last. It's a masterpiece, Piero, it's a masterpiece. Truly worthy of the word. And you can obviously see how beautiful this is. You see Big Jorg here, Peter, and that's really beautiful. And Clara, and it appears you took my advice to heart. What advice was that? Piero, to put yourself into the work, not just to interpret another artist's work, but to transform it into something true. This shows the world as it is, as you have seen it, even if it is not what we may want to see. Though it is not my place to say so, I'm proud of you, Andreas. Andreas, what's this? Piero, a scrap of parchment? Do not return here. Piero, do not return here alone. Piero, whose hand is this? It doesn't look like Brother Adolf's or Brother Guy's. Andreas, Brother Florian and I found a similar note in the Baron's clothing drawer. It's strange, but nothing to be concerned over. And I found more notes delivered to others while I was investigating. Someone was trying to manipulate him into going to the chapter house in the middle of the night. They must have been written by someone who knew the darkest secrets of the town and this abbey. He tugged at those secrets to kill the Baron, like someone pulling at threads that had been buried in the past. Piero, a frightening thought. But who would do such a thing? Andreas, I wish I knew, or God knows. Piero, he does. And I hope this love can still the wickedness in the heart of whoever wrote this. Do not trouble yourself about it. Your future lies outside of these walls. I hope that you'll have time to visit me once or twice on your travels before the Lord takes me. Andreas, I'll come as often as I can, or I'm sure we'll see each other again. Piero, I pray we will, as I pray for your success. God bless you, Andreas, my lord. Andreas, thank you for your friendship. Until next time. Thank you for your guidance. Until later. God bless you, Brother Piero. Master Andreas? Andreas, what? Caspar, are you alright, Master Andreas? Andreas, yes, thank you. I was just remembering him. Trying to anyway. It doesn't come easily anymore. Caspar, oh, would you like me to leave you alone? Andreas, no, Caspar, it's not necessary. There's nothing to be done about it now. It's too late. Like so many things. God, Andreas Mailer. I never expected to see your face here again. Have you been in Nuremberg for these last 7 years? Andreas, no. Nuremberg for a few years, but I received some lucrative commissions abroad. Poland? Andreas knows some Polish, bits of Czech and Hungarian, and can reference cultural touchstones from Krakow, Prague, and Budapest. England. Andreas knows some English and can reference cultural touchstones from London and other parts of Britain. France. Andreas knows French and can reference cultural touchstones from Paris, Tours, and Dijon. Or Aragon. Andreas knows some Spanish and bits of Arabic, and can reference cultural touchstones from Barcelona and Vienna, Valencia. Since Andreas already has a bit of a Protestant background, let's pick England. I was in London. I was well received there, and painted portraits for the nobility, painted portraits for the nobility and prominent merchants. Guy, did you encounter any Jews among your friends? Andreas, no. There was a rumor of a home for Jewish converts to Christianity in the city. Why? Guy, I had heard of a handful of physicians naturalized as citizens after the expulsion. I wondered if they might have found a home in England after their recent ejections from Portugal and Navarre. Andreas, I'm surprised you cared at all. Guy, in any case, it seems time and fortune have been kind to you. Andreas, I apologize for not writing ahead of time. My mind has been distracted. Or, sorry to just drop it unannounced. It wasn't planned. I was just passing through. Or, I suppose 7 years is a long time. Guy, well, the distraction has become our responsibility, I suppose. Anyway, I'm surprised a man of your wealth has time to visit a small country abbey, though I suspect your frugality won't permit you to donate anything to your former employer. There it is, Caspar. Brother Guy has a spirit as bitter as lemon, and as sour as old milk. You haven't changed at all. Still the same asshole. Guy, this is Kearsarger's. You should know by now, nothing here changes. If you'll follow me, I'll show you the guest house. Your boy man can stay as well, of course. Andreas, many thanks. Lead the way. Or what I'll select. He's my apprentice, Caspar, and we appreciate the hospitality. 4. Revolution, June 1525. And that is where we'll go ahead and end the video there for this week. And so, with that I want to say, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe as it greatly helps the channel. Like to be with you all. Take care, and thanks again.